Okay, so now we're going to talk about the development of the spinal cord a little bit. We're going to go through and explain some terms, and then we're going to see an image that shows how it all develops. So it's important to remember at the very beginning when we were talking about the spinal or the brain development that there's an extension that goes out of the brain, that's the spinal cord, and it forms as like this tube that goes down through the length of the embryo. And this is going to end up becoming the central canal of the spinal cord. And so there's the neural canal, and then what starts to develop around it is something called the sulcus limitans, and this is going to form some grooves in the spinal cord, and this is going to become dividing points. And so then we'll have basal plates and alar plates arise. And so there's something that's a little bit difficult here. The basal plates are going to actually develop into the anterior horns, and the alar plates are going to develop into the posterior horns. So basal is going to be more anterior, and alar is going to be more posterior, or towards the back. And so if you can just remember, anterior is not alar. So that way, hopefully, you can get that question right if there is that question on the exam. So this is what it looks like as it starts to develop. And so this is the embryo. And so as an embryo, the spinal cord and the vertebral canal, or I mean the spinal cord and the neural canal are roughly the same length. And so here is that tube that's developing, and this is going to form the tissue, and the neural crest cells will help develop into those cell bodies and the ganglia that extend outward. And here's that neural canal in the middle, which is going to start getting pinched in here. This is the sulcus limitans, which is this little pinch between the anterior and the posterior parts of the vertebral or of the spinal cord. And this is going to be that fluid-filled sac that is your central canal in your adult vertebra. So as you develop, you'll see it by about week 6, the basal and the alar plates form, and this is going to be that gray matter where the cell bodies and the unmyelinated axons are. And then so as you continue to develop, by about week 9, you'll have the posterior and anterior horns form, and then this is going to end up continuing to make connections, and that's kind of how the development of the spinal cord happens. It's overall not terribly difficult. So as you develop early on as an embryo, everything's the same length. The vertebral canal and the spinal cord are the same length. But as you age, your vertebra grow faster than your spinal cord. So throughout the fetal period, your vertebral canal continues to grow, and the spinal cord stays smaller as it continues to grow. So a newborn spinal cord ends at L3, but you're going to continue to grow, and so an adult, the spinal cord ends at about L1, and remember you'll have the cauda equina is going to be those nerves that go outwards. And so the length or the rate of growth of the nervous tissue versus the osseous tissue is going to be why there is a difference in spinal cord parts corresponding to the nerves. And so that's why the spinal cord doesn't go all the way down to your coccyx. It stops there at the lumbar vertebra.